Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are here to look at a new palette by Melt Cosmetics. This is the Brunette palette, shining and reflecting there. The Brunette palette, you get 8 shades and it is $48. This is currently available on Melt's website and here in the US on Sephora and probably at a store near you depending upon where you live. It is a neutral palette. We are going to compare it to some other neutral palettes coming up and do a little bit of a demo to recreate the look I've got going here. So let's talk for a minute about Melt Cosmetics. One thing I can say for them is they enjoy their recreational relaxation time. The last palette being the Mary Jane palette. And you know, they've had a few others devoted to that. So this palette they have actually taken to actual libations, and this is a palette based really around beer. Brunette, I would like to think it's about people like me with my darker hair color, but this really appears to be about beer based. There's actually, well, bourbon is not beer, so that one, but there's stout and tan, musk, cork, buff, suede. So they're kind of alcohol, mostly beer, I guess, except for the bourbon. Although if you know more about beer, you can correct me. I'm not a big beer drinker. How'd you know by looking at me? I once ordered a stout in Britain with my husband. No, I didn't order a stout. You know what I did? I ordered, you guys, and if you're in the UK, you'll laugh. Speaking of beer, I ordered a cider, and my husband, who's Scottish, started laughing. I'm like, what? I like apple cider. He's like, are you going to drive off in your big truck? Like, I had no idea that was like not, I don't know. Tell me, you guys, because, yeah. I just liked apple. So I don't know too much about beers and stuff. You can tell me more, but I think the people at Melt actually do. And so we're going to look at these and swatch them. We're also going to compare it to the inevitable comparison it will receive with the Patrick Ta palette and some others that are coming up here. So first things first, let's get a nice good look at these 8 shades for $48 right there in the camera for you. Trying not to blind you with the mirror. And now that we've done that, I think we need to look at them on the arm. So there they are, all 8 shades. Beautiful 8 nice deep dark shades. You know, it's been a while since I have bought a Melt palette. I love their stacks. I love their blushes. I love their lipsticks. I really like the brand. But after the stacks, I was kind of disappointed with a lot of their palettes, and I did skip the last 2. Was it She's in Parties and the Mary Jane? I did skip those, so I thought, let me come back and try it again, because if it's neutral, it's got me interested. You know, I love the neutrals. But I do know that you guys might be seeing this and be a little overwhelmed neutral-wise, especially because we just had the release of the Patrick Ta for eyes. His neutral palette here. Now his palette has 10 shades plus 2 cream bases for also $48. So the question becomes, let me hold them up side by side. The question becomes which one, and I actually do have a little bit more of an assertive statement about that coming up at the end of this video, slightly more assertive. But here they are together. Let me show you. The only hint I'll give you about what I say at the end of the video is the shades look very similar, but on the eye, they are actually kind of different. One is a very neutral and one is a much more powerful neutral. So it depends how you feel about your neutrals. When you wear neutral, do you want to be demure and gentle, or do you still want to kick the butt? I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. You might also be thinking about the new Artist Couture palette that's coming out. I'll throw a picture of that in while I hold this up. I don't really think there's much there in common, to be honest, but that does have a kind of a lot of bronzy shades to them. I will have the Artist Couture palette coming up very soon, early next week, so we can look at that then. I don't know much about it yet. I'm still waiting, just like you guys. And of course, the inevitable Biba palette references come up when we talk about Patrick Ta and when we talk about Melt. We are going to be speaking about that as well. The Biba is the queen of them all, so you know, if you are a huge neutrals fan, you probably already have that and get a lot of looks out of it. These 2 palettes, though, are a lot more manageable. And of course, Patrick Ta has the 2 cream base shades, whereas the Melt doesn't. So in a way, kind of different. What I want to do now is recreate this look, because what I was most curious about with this palette because I've had some trouble with Melt palettes, not stacks, but Melt palettes in the past. I really wanted to try the shimmers, and I really wanted to try the dark shades to make sure they blended well for us. And then I also did a bit of a wear test and wore it for a few hours before I came back and give you my assessment. So let's go to that right now. Okay, let's create a look and see how these shades perform, because I have really only swatched them before. So I'm going to start with Buff, which is the second shade in right here, and just put that all over the eyes. And let's just see, I'm really curious about how all of the shades will perform, as this is kind of a first impression. So I'm kind of ready, like it's a sport. I've got my hair back and I'm ready to go. All right, so far so good. Of course, this is just kind of a little bit of a base shade. I'm just applying it with my Sonia G brush here, just around. I didn't really want to go into Suede, the first shade. That was a little bit too white. So there we go. Okay, let's try to get some of these deeper shades here. Let's go with Tan. I'm just kind of interested. Tan is the color right here, fourth in. I'm just kind of interested in how, I'm not even tapping off the brush. I'm just kind of interested in how some of these deeper shades perform, because we really want to compare it to something like Biba and something like Patrick Ta's new eyeshadow palette, to just kind of know what we're dealing with. And, you know, God bless Melt, they have been hit and miss. I guess Natasha Denona is too, really, though. So far, so good. I'm not having any issues with this darker shade. As you see, it's kind of blending nicely and not giving me any sort of trouble, which is why I chose it, because I did wonder if it would try to act up on us. It's not going to act up down here. I'm just applying it down underneath. Okay. All right, I want to try another dark shade, and we're going to switch brushes, and we're going to go with the very last one, which is the namesake of the palette, Brunette, right there, and just kind of put it, I'm just using the darker colors just to make sure that they go on well. The lighter ones often do, although that very, very, very pale first shade might not. Still, my biggest concern are these darker shades, and I have no complaints, which is actually kind of nice. I didn't know if I would or wouldn't. All right, let's try these shimmer shades. Okay, I am going to try Bourbon. Not the drink. If I were drinking bourbon on here, we'd be in trouble. These are interesting shimmer shades. I want you to take a look here. Let me just kind of move this for a second and put you in there close. It's a different kind of shimmer shade. It is very kind of foil-like and doesn't really seem to have any sort of glitter in it, but I approve. It's very, very pretty. It's going to have less fallout, although I shouldn't speak too soon. I do see a bit of fallout right here, but it's not, you know, falling all over. And I am using my finger to apply, which minimizes fallout for the most part to begin with. But actually, I'm not having any trouble here, and I'm going to, when I put on my mascara, Princesses, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I want to just see how this stays on. You won't be on the break with me. It'll be seamless for you, but I'm just going to wait a little bit and just kind of see how this kind of lasts on the eye. But I am going to add some mascara on and some eyeliner, and let's just see kind of how things play out for an hour or two. I'll be right back. It'll be quick for you. Well, Princesses, I've made my own job harder because gosh darn it, I like this palette. Okay, so here it is with mascara and some Pat McGrath Black Coffee eyeliner added in. It is about an hour and 45 minutes, just under 2 hours. And take a look at the shimmer shade, which is more metallic shade. It's staying just fine. You are going to want to know which you should spend your money on. Of course, we can't comment on Artist Couture, obviously, yet. But, you know, Patrick Ta or this. And when I first opened, I should say, the palette, I was like, oh, it's going to be Patrick Ta for sure because there's more shades in it. There's more, you know, I thought 10 shades plus 2 bases, 8 shades. These are performing really well. Let me tell you what I see the difference as. I see the Melt shades as much darker, more impactful, and more dramatic. And I see the PRINTcesses palette as a little bit more subtle and neutral. To me, though these are neutral shades in the Melt palette, they're powerful neutrals. And actually they do say that these are powerful brown shades. Whereas I see the PRINTcesses as a neutral palette, I see this kind of as a brown-based palette. A brunette. I'm a brunette. So I actually think they're different. If you love neutral shades, this would be your more soft and gentle look, and this would be your more kick down the doors look. They're actually quite different palettes. When I came into this review, I would not have thought that I would be stating this. They are different, and I thought I would say this is just kind of a neutral palette. It's not. This is beautiful and it performs well. And this is the first Melt palette rather than stacks that I've been in love with, though I did, as I mentioned, skip the last two. So I suppose I can't talk, but I was just frustrated with them. So I'm really glad I'm back. I think this is a winner for Melt. And I really like it. It's just kind of it's a powerful neutral, and this is a gentle neutral. I don't know if that even helps you, but I cannot dog this palette. I think it's really fun, and I really like the look. And in fact, I think if I were going for a neutral, I might even go towards the Melt because it's that impactful, powerful, kick down the door brown. It's kind of nice. Tell me your thoughts. What were you thinking? I got the Artist Couture palette coming up as well pretty soon here, so we'll be able to kind of look at all three of them. But let me know your thoughts. Did you pick this up? Were you even thinking about it? You might not have been. Maybe you thought, look, another neutral, but tell me what you thought. Do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope you did. And if you haven't already done so, I hope that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.